directors from the ministry. Good afternoon to all of you. We have gathered here for, actually we had to have an excuse to meet because we are almost closing at the end of the year. And I thought for the last 5 to 7 months, or maybe before that, we have not really met as a group like this. And when I did propose this to the minister, he himself felt that, well, we should be meeting more often than what we have been doing. So we thought as we closed the year, it was an important forum where we could meet, informally interact, and share our thoughts over how the year has gone by. I mean, my own impression is we should be pretty satisfied as to how the year has gone by in terms of our work and own perception of how the ministry has performed and how the media units have performed. Specifically, why we gather here is a small release of what I called it an administrative handbook of this ministry, but more importantly of all the media units, and this would be like a calendar for 2019. So maybe this is the first diary which gets presented to our minister, to our secretary, and to most of you as we enter 2019. And this is more than a blend between a telephone directory and a diary, because the idea is to have at one place the profile of each and every officer, and we are having a profile, or at least the coordinates of more than 750 officers in this booklet which we are going to release, and which is important from the reason that while we work largely, I mean, most of our work are centered around in Delhi, most of the officers are in Delhi. The fact is that a lot of our officers are placed in various parts of the country, and it is important that we get connected. And this is a booklet which enables all of us to get connected. And I was myself surprised that we have officers posted in places as far as Leh and Sagar and Kathua and Behrampur and Jagdanpur and Bankura, etc. And why I say it, because those who have been posted in smaller places, to get a call from a senior in Delhi, say, how are you, how you're feeling, how your family, I think it's a great idea. And therefore, this gives an opportunity to all of us here and those who are in the smaller towns to be more closely connected. And therefore, we have this small booklet. I would request, before of course I request the minister to release, I must place on record some people who have worked for me for release of this book, sir. Mr. Rajinder, Mr. Chawla, Nigam, can you just stand and show yourself, because usually they are the people who are working, sir. We don't get an opportunity. Chawla ji, Salesh, where is Salesh? Yeah, they all people have been working very hard. And I must definitely mention Ajay Joy. Ajay is from the BOC, and I gave him very little time for preparation of this book because we had to release it before the year end. So they all have worked very hard for this. The concept was mine, a bit of content of mine. So since this is the first time we are releasing it, there would be a lot of drawbacks. So bear with me, and if there are any such drawbacks, I take all the apologies. Can I request Chawla ji to please bring it here so that the minister could release the books? Yeah. In this administrative handbook, we have the names and contact details of each and every officer who is working along with this ministry in the media units, including some of the important autonomous bodies and media organizations. And we have done it alphabetically, colored. We have done some colored differentiation for each media unit. And therefore, it's an opportunity for all of us to have it on a table and therefore interact. Before I request the Honorable Minister to address the gathering, could I request the Secretary to say a few words, sir?
Honorable Minister, colleagues. Let me start by thanking the Joint Secretary P&A. When he came up with this idea of administrative handbook, I thought it will be another set of instructions that we keep sending out, do's and don'ts, this should be done, that should not be done. But the way it has come out, it is really very informative. And more importantly, as he indicated in his welcome speech, Honorable Minister and I thought this could be an occasion to meet all of you, and more importantly, to thank each one of you. I must mention that, sir, as a team, under your leadership, all the officers of all the ranks, be they in Doordarshan or Akashvani or in BOC, other media units, PIB, they have all performed very well, and repeatedly at higher levels, the performance of the ministry is being noted. I am glad that in the various events held during the last few months, be it the International Film Festival at Goa or the release of the speeches of Honorable President in the Vigyan Bhavan or organizing the Parakram Parv, the entire ministry has risen to the occasion without caring much about the silos that this occasion is of the films division or the other occasion is of the publication division. I think that is the spirit with which we should work. I'm sure 2019 will bring laurels to the ministry through the hard work being put together by each one of you and working as a team. Definitely, there was also a proposal which the Honorable Minister had directed, but where we need to work a little more, and that is the retreat of the officials, which would be giving us an opportunity to interact more on various subjects and themes. But I am sure that today's interaction, after this, we'll be meeting over a cup of tea. But these type of interactions bring out the team spirit, and it is the teamwork which actually leads to success of any ministry or the government as a whole. In fact, as a ministry, we have in the last few months provided a platform to other ministries to showcase their events, be it the good news stories or transforming India stories, or having the pre-event, post-event type of discussions of various events being organized and inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister or the Honorable Ministers. I'm sure with this type of team spirit that we have in the ministry, we'll definitely have even better performance in the coming year 2019. So thank you very much for all the work that you have done, and wish you all the best for 2019.
May I request the Honorable Minister to address the officers.
Well, a very good morning to all of you, and Merry Christmas, which is already past a couple of days, and also in advance wish you a very Happy New Year. I'm of course taken by a little surprise with today's meeting and the whole purpose of this meeting. As late as a couple of minutes ago, I was asking, what is this meeting about? I hate speaking, so my first question to them is, do I have to speak? And I said, it's up to you to speak. So I said, no, don't keep any of my speeches there. But this is a very informal interaction. I'm so happy that this has been organized. Amit Kareji, the Secretary Sahab, and the JSPNA, of course, Sitanshuji, Shashi. We, of course, need to have many more such meetings together. See, for me, I've repeated it many times that being in INB has been a great learning experience for me. On a daily basis, I'm learning new things here. It's that learning curve, and when you're learning, you're growing. And so it's like childhood, right? You learn many things, and you feel very vibrant about learning new things. So INB has been a great learning for me. And when I see all of you, I feel that in the entire country, if somebody has to look at people who are the best in the business of taking any work to the people, then this should be you. I mean, you're specialized in this. There's a whole department for this. There's backing of the government funding in this, and very active mind. The point is of applying it now. So I had mentioned to the secretary earlier that we should have a couple of retreats wherein we should all put our minds together, because each one of us somewhere is very motivated, and maybe at times you feel that things are not happening all right, and then you feel a little dejected because your voice is not being heard. You feel something's going wrong, but you are unable to bring it to the notice of somebody who can make a difference. And so there is a sense of dejection. I feel that people have great ideas, irrespective of what position you are. And it's the coming together of ideas that will take our work or make our work even more stronger, irrespective of what position. So therefore, it's important that we all meet, break the silos, and contribute to the whole idea of how we can do better broadcast of the schemes that we are entrusted with. There's been good amount of work in the ministry. This is a ministry wherein anything that you do still falls short, right? So, but nevertheless, is great amount of work that's been done. We've been able to take a lot of government schemes to the masses in new innovative methods. And I think it's absolutely the whole canvas is open in the sense of what new ideas can come in. So I went to the extent of telling the secretary that even if it's not a retreat, at least once in a fortnight, we should get together perhaps like this, where it's more, it's short, it's brief, you can all return back to your work, but we are still able to discuss some of the things that we are doing as a ministry. So perhaps that I think is possible. I'm really glad that we have the phone numbers and how the contact details of literally everybody who's involved with our ministry in the entire country. I'm sure this will help you to reach out to people. Each of the departments that are working in your own, the mandates that you have, I compliment each one of you for the good work that you're doing in your own departments. I also compliment you at times that when you cross over and work with the other departments, because sometimes when we have to deliver something, it's not only restricted to a department, it could be coming together of various departments. I've also believed that all through in my life, I've been mission oriented. For me, mission comes the most important. The rules come later. I always believe that the rules are made to accomplish a mission. And if the mission is not being accomplished, then perhaps the rules need to be changed. I don't believe otherwise. You don't change your mission because the rules can't be changed. And I've always been like that. And therefore, let's come up with, keep raising the standards of the mission in our ministry. I know, for example, and I've often spoken to Doordarshan people, that there was a time when private channels, when they would want to start a new channel, they would all poach on Doordarshan engineers and Doordarshan program officers or radio programmers. It's because they are the best. It's just that in the department, they don't feel so energized or motivated. The point is of getting the vibrancy in each of the department. And it is a fact of life that in India, we can become the best. And I always feel that our life is limited and we should be able to do our best in our life and feel good about it, feel satisfied about it. And when we do that, remember that there is really no issue in helping out somebody from maybe the same department or maybe from some other department. When we create an environment like this, there's a sense of positivity in the entire department, in the entire ministry. And I've always felt that in terms of welfare, you can ask us whatever you want, it will be done. Right in the beginning, I remember when postings and transfers was the issue. And I said, well, you can look at it in any way you want. If the person belongs to a particular region, post him because he knows the language, right? And so let him or she be happy that they are staying in the area that they want, as long as they are working. Right? If they are not working, then we'll find the farthest place from their place and we'll send them there. The point is that we should all deliver what we are entrusted with. So let's create an environment, and it's not just to the secretary or to JSPNA to create that environment, or the head of the department to create that environment. It is for each one of us to do beyond what is called for. So thank you so much for this interaction. I think we should have more of this. And thank you for bringing out this book. Congratulations and a Happy New Year.
Before we break, sir, just a small, it's not a small surprise, because these are personally inscribed your names, so we wanted to present it to you, sir. And our secretary, sir, and Mr. Khar. We invite all of you, sir, to join for some tea, sir.